What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at what I believe is the way Charles Oliveira can defeat Islam Makachev at UFC 294 in their rematch. Now, whatever way you look at this fight, this is going to be extremely tough for Charles Oliveira. We saw what happened last time out, and Islam Makachev was completely dominant. And if Charles isn't careful, this fight could go very similar to the last one. But I really believe if he implements different methods in this fight, I think he actually has a chance at coming out on top. I don't think he can beat Islam for 25 minutes, and I think the only way he can win this fight is by knockout. So let's get into why I think so. So Charles Oliveira had a very dominant performance over Beneil Dariush this past year. And in this fight, not a lot changed from his other fights and the Islam fight prior. He was still on the front foot, always applying pressure, always looking to throw powerful shots, and was always threatening in the grappling exchanges as well. At one point, he even ended up on bottom against Beneil Dariush, and he wasn't worried at all. Honestly, he didn't try and get up for a while too. So, honestly, I think that if he comes out with a similar performance against Islam Makachev that he did against Dariush, he could see victory. But the main thing that I think Charles did in that fight against Dariush that was different to the Makachev fight prior was he wasn't rushing anything. And he was always on the front foot, yes, but he wasn't rushing for knockouts or rushing to get into exchanges. He was very calm and composed and really trying to pick his shots, which also worked against Justin Gaethje when they fought. Charles' striking is very, very good. Justin Gaethje even said that Charles was one of the hardest hitters that he's ever faced, which is crazy coming from a guy like Gaethje. And in the Dariush fight, you could see that. I mean, you could just see the power behind his right hand every single time he threw it, and pretty much any shot he did throw. The main shot that gave Beneil Dariush a lot of issues, though, was that right head kick. From orthodox to southpaw, that was open a lot of the time, and he landed it twice, and they weren't even flush, and it caused Beneil worlds of problems. The first time was right at the beginning of the fight, and it actually woke Beneil up a bit. And the second time he landed that kick, that was the one that led up to his eventual TKO finish. The reason I bring up that particular kick, though, is because I think that's the weapon that he could use against Islam Makachev as well. Yes, Islam Makachev is a more talented striker than Beneil Dariush, but like I said, Beneil was blocking those kicks, and they were still going through and causing damage. Not to mention, Islam Makachev is also a southpaw, so when Charles is in orthodox, it's there. That'll be there as well. And as long as he doesn't rush it and try and throw it too much or show it too early, I don't see why it can't connect and lead to a finish. I don't think it'll knock Islam out by any chance, but I think it could definitely startle him and rattle him, for sure. I don't think Charles is going to change too much from his game coming into this fight, but I do think he will not grapple as much. I think he's got to realize that Islam Makachev is going to be the toughest guy for anybody in the UFC on the ground right now, and staying on the feet is Charles' best chance to win this fight. I think he's a better striker technically than Islam, and I also think that he has more power in his hands. So if he keeps this on the feet, there's a very good chance Charles could win this fight, because I don't know how much Islam's going to be shooting. I mean, I think he will shoot and he will try and take Charles down, but I think Islam also believes that he can stand with this guy on the feet, like in their last fight. Where Charles went wrong last time out in his striking exchanges with Islam was he was just throwing crazy shit. I mean, flying knees and just crazy combinations that Islam wasn't going to let slide, and Charles ultimately paid the price for it. This time out, if he's able to just stick to simple combinations, still be on the front foot and keep his pressure on, but not just allow himself to be put in horrible situations where Islam could take him down or even hurt him badly, he needs to just be calm, composed, like he was against Beneil Dariush. He wasn't throwing crazy shit against Beneil. Sure, the head kick, if you want to count that, tight in against a guy like Beneil who does pose a takedown threat, but I still think he was using it perfectly. It was so quick, lightning quick, and I don't think Beneil was seeing it come most of the time. Like, he probably could use that same shot against Islam because of the speed. I don't think there's a big speed difference between the two, but I think that kick is just, it's lightning, man. And it was lightning against Dariush. If he can use it again well here, it could definitely happen for him. He needs to also just make sure that he doesn't keep his chin out against a guy like Islam or drop his hands too much. Charles doesn't go to the body a lot when he's striking, but against a guy like Islam, you're always going to be wanting to throw different stuff and mixing things up just to keep Islam on his toes. And you also don't want to be allowing yourself to get taken down. Like, however good Charles's jiu-jitsu is, I still don't think you want to be on your back in this fight. Not against a guy like Islam Makachev. I'm not saying he can't use his jiu-jitsu even. Like, I think Charles, if he wanted to, he could try and take his back. Why not? It's Charles Oliveira. He knows what he's doing, as long as he just doesn't end up on his back. Another big thing for Charles here is going to be his mentality heading into this one. I mean, he's coming off the back of another first-round finish over another top-5 opponent, and if he goes out there and defeats Islam Makachev, he'd be the first fighter in UFC history to record finishes over the top 5 guys in the division. And that's absolutely remarkable if he's able to do something like that. So I think a stat like that even could be in the back of his head. Just, he really is going to want to get over the hump that is Islam Makachev in this fight. And as long as he comes out with a lot of the same tools he used against Beneil Dariush, I don't see why that can't happen. I feel like it's fair for me to compare guys like Islam Makachev and Beneil Dariush. I mean, yes, they are different fighters, but in terms of how they're going to approach Charles Oliveira, I think they're very similar. Beneil was also trying to do the Islam Makachev thing where he was waiting for Charles to really make some moves, and he would hit him with counters and try and end up in effective positions and grappling exchanges. And that's what Islam really did try and do in the first fight with Charles. I mean, we saw how he was able to knock down Charles, and he wanted to stay on top of him as much as he could in that fight, and he did that. Not to mention, they also are both southpaws, so it's a similar look for Charles on the feet, and if he's going to be practicing the same type of tools he used against Beneil, it gives him a lot of interesting looks. Charles is going to be looking for the finish in this fight. There's no questions about it. And I think the head kick is the big one here. I think that's the one shot that I could really see startling Islam and catching him off guard. I mean, a straight right from Charles too, if it gets through, will be money, but it's tough against a guy like Islam. It is really tough. I really do believe he can do it, though. That's it for this one, though, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. And let me know in the comments, who's winning this fight? Is Charles going to get his title back, prove everyone wrong once again, and continue the underdog trend this year that we've had in 2023? Or is Islam Makachev going to retain his title and prove to everyone why he's still the #1 lightweight in the world? I'm really excited for this fight. This is honestly my most anticipated fight of the year. I think it's going to be an absolute banger. This whole card's going to be a banger, and I'm so excited for it. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video, and take care.